You're listening to Main Character Manifesto, where we talk mindset, self-identity, and stepping into your power. I am your host, Ceci, your go-to life coach for real talk and major glow-ups. This is your space to get inspired, get honest, and get moving toward the life you know you're meant to live. Are you ready? Let's get into it.
Who's that girl? That's me. I'm on fire. I'm a hot girl. I'm a hot girl. I get anything I want. This is my world. I make big moves in my big heels. Since the day that I was born, I've been a big deal.
Let's do this. Hello, everybody. Happy August. I cannot believe this is August. It's been wild. I feel like it was just yesterday where I was launching the first episode, and that was 17 episodes ago. No, wait, today's episode 18. So that's wild. It's so crazy to see how fast time flies. I feel like we say this every year where we're surprised that the year is going by and that we're close to the end of the year. But don't you worry. We still have time left until the end of the year to make major progress on our goals. And I am all into it. I'm so excited to kind of look back to see where we've been this year and where we're going. For today's episode, I wanted to do a little recap on the wellness side. I know we talked about doing a recap for your personal goals, your career goals, whatever goals you may have, and then auditing your vision board to see where you are, where you want to go, and kind of figuring out, is that the same direction that I still want to keep going? But in today's episode, as you all know, actually for the people that have been here from the beginning, thank you. I love you. You're my tribe. And for the new people that are just coming in, or if you're in the future, because I am manifesting a large audience where I get to help the most amount of people. I really want to spread the word, help people, help them find the best version of themselves, and come along the ride as I become the main character of my own life, and I share the tips and tricks that have gotten me to where I am and that are going to get me to where I'm going. So let's go. Today's episode, we're going to dive deep into the wellness transformation. I'm going to do a little reintroduction of my journey, where I'm at, where I started, where I want to go, where I see my vision, and how that correlates how I want to support other women to be able to do the same, to find their own passion, to find their own wellness journey that feels like a sustainable lifestyle, right? Anything that doesn't feel aligned with something that you can do consistently on a daily basis, that you can incorporate to your routines, your lifestyle, to your family, to your work. Anything that you can't incorporate into your real life is not going to be sustainable. So today, I'm going to tell you about how I got to where I'm at and where I plan on going. If you follow me on Instagram, you have seen a sneak peek on my transformation. Now, I started a year ago with a new personal trainer, but I have been working on my health and fitness since I graduated high school. I'm not going to say before that because I did struggle with food and with my weight before that, but I wasn't even trying to lose weight. I wasn't there mentally. I was overweight and I didn't want to be overweight, but I wasn't taking any steps toward changing that. And of course, my mindset was completely off because I had no one to tell me how to change my mindset. I had no idea that I was using food as a coping mechanism for my emotions. I was a very shy girl. Definitely a late bloomer. I don't even think I started wearing makeup until after high school. Like, I would wear a little bit of lipstick. I would not fill in my eyebrows. I would not wear mascara to high school. I was very plain. I did like to dress up, but I still did not know how to do my makeup. I was girly. I just didn't have the older sisters to show me. I turned out to be the glam sister, and I'm the one that gets them ready and that has taught them how to do their hair and makeup, but I had no one to show me how to do that. Actually, my mom's sisters are definitely major influencers. When I would go to Mexico and we would go to a wedding and we would get ready, my mom's sisters absolutely stepped up and they'd be like, okay, let me do your makeup. Let me do this. So they're definitely hot and they had their shit together. So I guess I would say I did get some style inspiration from them and a little bit here and there. But in high school, I definitely did not do much of that. My friends and I, we all loved to dress up and we definitely had a sense of style, but I was always a chubby one. I was always comparing myself. I remember that we would go shopping for back to school, and I think this must have been maybe like my junior or my senior year, where I went shopping with my best friend and she got some stuff and I got some jeans, and she was like, let me see the jeans that you bought. And I picked them up and I showed them to her folded, where you would just see the one leg draping instead of all the way open. And she's like, why are you showing them to me that way? And I said, because I hate the way that they look when they're open. They look huge. I was embarrassed and it hurt me to see that they were so huge. I mean, I have wide hips. I remember at some point in high school, I was a size 17. And that was in a Levi's that didn't stretch. So whatever that was, I must have been around, I don't know, maybe like 170, 180. I did not weigh myself back then. I could have been more, but I was definitely not about to go on a scale. Now, to bring this little rant back home, I have always struggled with weight. We know that. If you've been here from the beginning, you know. Back then, I did not know I was using food as a coping mechanism. I've done therapy, I've done coaching, I've done journaling, I've done all the mindset work to really clear out my blockages and understand when that first started. For me, it was at the most traumatic time in my life, which is when my family uprooted and moved from Mexico to the US to a new country where I didn't speak the language. I was different. I had no friends. I felt completely alone and different, and I hated that. And food was the only thing that made me feel good, that made me forget, that made me feel like I was just feeling good and comfortable and cozy. It was like a warm hug. I think that's where my love for cooking came, because I would get in the kitchen and I would start mixing up ingredients, and I would grab this sauce and I would grab that spice and I would just mix things up and I would come out with something wonderful. And I loved every minute of it. Now, my choices for what I was making were not healthy at all. And don't get me wrong, my mom cooks very healthy. She cooked a lot of vegetables, a lot of protein. She definitely did not have any nutritional background or health or fitness background, but she cooked very nutritious, very balanced. We ate a lot of fruits and vegetables, and she's just always cooked very healthy, naturally. So that was helpful. It was me. I was choosing all the fatty things. My parents bought one of those commercial meat slicers, and they would buy a big chunk of ham and a big chunk of turkey, and they would get salami, like a big stick. So we literally would have like deli style meat, and then they would slice everything, bag it up into baggies and freeze it, and then we would just take it out. Well, let me just tell you, I may or may not have eaten a whole stick of salami by myself. Yeah. So that happened. And my parents didn't even really know that that had happened. I don't even know why. But, you know, years later, I kind of told them about it. I was like, yeah, I ate one of those all by myself. And they're like, how did you get away with that? I was like, I don't know, but it was delicious. And there was a lot of shame around that because there's a lot of hiding food or just feeling guilt because you want more and you see other people not wanting more. So figuring out what those emotions were and what I was feeling, where it all started, how to break it down, how to rewire, reverse engineer my mindset so that I wouldn't keep doing that for the rest of my life has been the hardest thing, but also it doesn't have to be that hard. It does not have to be that hard. I did not understand that that was what was holding me back from losing weight. I didn't realize that it was my coping with food that was holding me back. I knew that I was an emotional eater, right? Isn't it weird? Like, you know you're an emotional eater, but then you don't know how to undo it and you don't know how to break it down and then how to do all the work. It wasn't until I became a life coach and I started to do the work and I started to have clients and I started to hire a coach to help me through things that I was able to uncover all of these feelings. And years before that, like, I've had therapists, I've done therapy, I've done the work, but it really was my coaching other people and being coached myself where I uncovered all of these kind of like light bulb moments where I realized, damn, this is so much deeper than I realized. I thought I was just lazy, that I was a procrastinator. I thought that my body was never going to change because I have friends that like will go on a trip and they'll be like, we'll go on a trip and everybody in the group text will be like, okay, the diet starts today. All right, who has been there where all of a sudden an event is on the books, you have a trip on the books, a beach vacation, a 40th birthday, a 30th birthday, something, a wedding, something's on the books and you're like, all right, now I have to eat healthy. Why do we do that? Why do we do that? Society has programmed us to be in this yo-yo diet culture, and I'm so over it. Like, that's why I'm so passionate about educating people about your options, about your mindset, about your emotions, about your nervous system. For those of you that don't know what your nervous system is and you just hear, yes, resetting your nervous system, recalibrating, all of these technical terms, basically, resetting your nervous system is when you're able to get your body out of this chronic state of stress, when you're in fight or flight mode and moving towards a state where you feel safe, calm, secure, and regulated. For that, you need the correct tools to be able to have the awareness that you need to realize that you're feeling these feelings of anxiousness or stress or anxiety, becoming aware, realizing what they are, and then using the tools that you need to get you into that safe, calm, and regulated state. Now, what people that use food as a coping mechanism do, they will feel that anxiety and without even thinking, they will go and grab some food, sometimes binging it where they're not even connecting what they're doing to their brain. It's almost like you're not even connecting what you're doing. And all of a sudden you just ate a whole bag of chips and you don't even realize how you did it. It's kind of wild, but it's because you've disconnected from reality and you are in a different place trying to ignore the feelings that you're feeling, and you're not even realizing that you're eating the whole bag of chips. It's kind of crazy. And I've mentioned this before in another episode, like this example, like whenever you're like really tired and you're zoning out and you're driving and then all of a sudden you're home and you don't even realize how you got home because you were just totally zoning out and you were just on autopilot. Well, that is kind of the feeling that you get when you're having like a little binge episode or a little self-soothe episode Or another example is like maybe you're going through a really hard time at work, or you just went through a breakup, and you're either going to restrict food or you're going to eat too much food just to make you feel that warm hug, that comfort that you want to feel, because you don't want to feel the emotions, the stress, the sadness, the anxiety, the loneliness, all of those feelings that we feel. That is what you're trying to avoid when you're trying to like give yourself a hug with food. And being a Mexican Latina who loves to cook, who loves family gatherings, who understand that food is part of our culture and it's one of the most beautiful things, I want to change the perspective on the things that we are told from the moment that we are born. We have a lot of respect for our food, and our parents have told us, how many times have we heard, no te levantas hasta que te acabes la comida, right? So you're not getting up from the table until you finish your food. And because our parents, many of them came from very humble beginnings, they respect the value of food. So they don't want the food to go to waste. They didn't understand that we needed to connect our mind and our body so that we understood when our body was full. If I'm not eating the whole plate that you served me, maybe it's because my stomach's already full and I don't need to eat it. So I do understand that it's hard with kids and parents where you have a picky eater and then they just don't want to eat, and you're doing the struggle of like, eat this, all that thing. I do understand that. So I want to bring some awareness to the Latin community to kind of understand and to be able to open up the conversation with the parents and the kids and see like, what is a middle ground that we can do? Maybe like there has to be a different way of approaching this than saying you're not getting up until you finish everything on your plate. But we will leave that for another episode. So bringing it back, talking about how we use food as a celebration. I love my culture. I love eating. I love the gatherings, but I also know and understand now that when I'm going to a party, I also have the choice to bring something that is maybe a healthier option that I can incorporate into other dishes, that I can still have the steak, I can still have the chilaquiles, I can still have the enchiladas, but I might eat a big thing of salad first that I bring and that I share with other people so that I can have a little bit more balance in my life. And that's okay. I also know and I understand that warm hug that I'm waiting to feel when I'm eating food doesn't need to come from food. It can come from a walk. It can come from going to visit a new city and going for a walk and going to get your usual coffee at a new city in a new coffee shop where you're getting to see new places, or a new trip, or something different that doesn't have to do with food. For example, I do a lot of work on my phone and on the computer, and I try to do it while I'm walking. Sometimes you will even see me walking around the house in circles. If I have about like 2,000 steps left to go to get to my daily step goal, I will literally be on my phone because I always have work to do, right? Like I can always do something. So I will be walking around the house in circles over and over again, just working. And before you know it, it'll be 10, 15, 20 minutes that I've been walking around in circles. And I got my steps in. I did some work, replied to some emails, replied to clients, posted some content, and I was able to do all of that, multitask and get movement and get my body moving. I actually get so inspired when I'm walking. So a lot of the times when I'm not doing, the walking around the house is kind of like a once in a while thing when I need to just close up my loops real quickly. But I do have a treadmill in my garage, and I do get on that treadmill treadmill. And I'm telling you, it is the best $1,000 I have ever spent because I get so much work done on there. On the days like today where I have to film and I'm sitting a lot of the day, I'm not moving around as much. I am able to come home after the gym, get on the treadmill, get some work done, and I'm able to like really get my steps in. And it's a really an amazing thing. So yesterday was Sunday and I said, you know what? I was about to go on the treadmill and get some work done because I had a lot of editing to do. And I was like, okay, we're going to get things done. Let's do this. Let's get on the treadmill, which is usually what I do. And I said, no. You know what? I am going to romanticize this part of my life because I want to feel inspired. I want to feel alive. It's a beautiful day outside. It's August. Like in a few months, winter is coming and I'm not going to get to have this beautiful weather that we have. So I'm going to take advantage of where I live and take myself outside. So I got myself ready and I said, I'm going to go and get my steps in and walk in a different city. So I took myself to Yountville and I drove up there and it was kind of hot and I definitely pay attention to the sun. I don't like to be out in the sun in peak hours. So I knew that if I drove into the city, then I would be able to find more shade versus if I was on the walking path that barely has any sun protection. So your girl is always gonna protect her skin because we are doing the most anti-aging possible that we can. You know, the red light mask, the retinol, the facials, all of it. Anyway, so I drove to Yountville, I parked, and I turned on this audiobook that I've been reading, and it was glorious. I walked my 6 miles, and my reward was to get my coffee. Now, you might be like, okay, well, that's food. Yeah, I was going to have my coffee anyways, sitting down at home, doing nothing. So why not get that same cup of coffee? It's the same calories. I didn't do anything different. It's just in a different city and it's a treat. So to me, it was such an elevated result. It was such a good way to feel luxe and to feel fancy and to feel like I was on vacation, just walking around, smiling at people with the sun shining and looking at everybody being on vacation and thinking like, damn, I live here. Like I live in this valley where I can literally drive 7 minutes. It's so close to my house. I can enjoy this beautiful town that people literally fly in just to come and visit. Celebrities, I mean, you name it. I'm so thankful. So it was such a great Sunday. I got so much work done. I got some cute content. I got so many great ideas and my energy was just elevated so much and I was vibrating at such a high frequency that it really started off my Monday in a really good place. I was very proud of myself and I told myself like, why don't you do this more often? We should make this like a weekly thing, like where we go somewhere on the weekend to get our coffee. Maybe it's Saturday, maybe it's Sunday, maybe it's not weekly, but I think I'm definitely gonna incorporate that into my rotation because even if it was raining, I feel like it would be super cute. I don't mind walking in the rain. That would actually be very cozy, maybe with like cozy rain boots. Maybe I wouldn't do 6 miles, but when I used to work in San Francisco, I used to take the ferry. I used to drive to Vallejo, and then I would take the ferry from Vallejo to San Francisco, and then from the San Francisco ferry, I would walk. I don't remember how many miles up. It was on California Street when I worked at the design firm, and it was nice. Like I didn't even mind it. Like you just get used to walking in the rain, walking with an umbrella. You just enjoy the view and it's very interesting. So anyways, I invite you to think about what area in your life can you romanticize, and how can you disconnect the reward from food. So what I did is I wanted to feel like I was celebrating, like I was having a Sunday fun day, without saying like, okay, I'm going to go and have like a really luxurious, very over the top brunch. I'm not saying that you can't do that. I'm just saying that's not what I was looking for at that moment. And I wanted the experience. And I still feel like I got that experience because I was able to disconnect my need for comfort with food. And also, let me disclose, I normally have a piece of toast every single day. I will have 1 or 2 pieces of toast. Actually, on most days, sometimes I don't have time to actually have it, but on most days, I will have my plain coffee with 3 tablespoons of half and half, and then I will have 2 pieces of toast with peanut butter and sugar-free jam. And that is literally my favorite thing to have. It is like a warm, cozy hug, but it feels good. I fit it into my macros. Carbs are not bad. It's fine. It's good. It's okay to incorporate that into your life. So the reason I'm saying that is yesterday when I was leaving the house, I told my mom, hey, I'm not going to have my toast at home today because I actually want to buy myself a treat when I go to Bouchon and get myself a pastry. Like for me, it's very rare to get a pastry because I feel the same having a pastry than having my piece of toast that is sprouted with peanut butter and jelly. So to me, it's fine to not have that. I will, of course, sometimes have a bite here and there. And if I want a croissant, I will get it. I don't deprive myself anymore. If I really want something and I'm craving it, I will just buy it and eat it and enjoy it because I know that I am on track with my day-to-day health and fitness, with my food and with my nutrition and with my workouts, that I now understand that a croissant is not going to throw me off. I actually lose weight when I'm on vacation because I'm just focused on having fun and I really connect my mind to my stomach, and I acknowledge that if I'm having food, I'm going to have mostly vegetables, and then I will have decadence thrown in there. Like I will have something fried, but I will always make sure to eat my veggies first so that I get full. These are all little tips and tricks that I help my clients work through and incorporate into their mindset so that it becomes a habit rather than feeling like you're on a diet. That's the biggest difference. So I feel like I'm like on a rant and we're already like over 30 minutes in, but today's topic was juicy and clearly I'm super passionate about it. So here we are. So like I was saying, your homework is I want you to really, really do an audit. Where in your life are you self-soothing? Is it with food? Is it with alcohol? Is it with something else that you're using to soothe and to feel better, or to avoid a certain feeling, or to cope with that stress, anxiety, whatever you're feeling, that loneliness, anything else, right? In today's case, I'm talking about food, and that is what I used to do. So I want you to do an audit, and then once you realize what that is, then I want you to think about what is a healthy swap. So for me, I wanted to feel like I was having a luxurious Sunday, like I was having a good experience, almost like vacation. So that's why I went to a place where a lot of people vacation and it was a beautiful day. And I bought myself I bought myself a delicious coffee, and the whole experience felt luxe. So how can you incorporate that feeling that you're looking for into your life without using what you're normally self-soothing with? Does that make sense? Are we all on the same page? Okay, so I want you to write it down and really journal about it. Or you can even do a little voice memo, whatever you need to do. But become aware. And now the second part of this homework is to actually implement it. Choose a day in the next couple of weeks where you're actually going to implement the swap, and then write down how you felt about it and how you're going to move forward, maybe implementing other things, and let's see where this takes you. I'm so excited. And so now the last part of this would be amazing if you end up doing it and you tag me while you're doing it, whether it's a hot girl walk in a new city to get your coffee, or if you're trying a new restaurant, or if you're trying a new massage place, or trying a new manicure place in a new city, or you're going to explore a new hike. Like, tag me. I would love to see what you end up doing. Find me on Instagram. I am at Cecilia_Navarro. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. So before I wrap everything up, I feel like I didn't even talk about my transformation, which was literally the whole point of today's episode. But I mean, it's pretty cut and dry. I was able to lose about 15% body fat. I lowered my body fat from 44% to 35%. So I guess it's a little under 15%. And it's been really great. I used to have this fear that whenever you lose weight, then it would just come right back, because I didn't understand how I would be able to keep it. But now I understand that it was my mindset that needed to change, that it wasn't my body that was just going to revert back like how it always had. Once I understood that, everything has changed, because I am in control of my mindset, and I am in control of what happens to my body. I am in control of the decisions that I make and the steps that I take to move forward. I also know that I am in control of self-sabotaging myself and getting myself out of there. So having that awareness of realizing when things are happening, and to get yourself, this is where regulating your nervous system comes in, understanding where those points of stress and anxiety and all those uncomfortable feelings are having. That is a point where you need to learn and understand when to pivot. And sometimes you need support. I know I have needed support, and I know that when I have a meeting with my coach on Monday and I'm going to have a check-in, then I'm like, shit, I can sit here and avoid everything that I need to do. And then when I go to that meeting on Monday, I'm going to feel horrible, because my coach is going to be like, let's talk about your progress. And I'm going to have nothing to show. So that accountability of having someone on your side that has been through what you've been through is amazing. It's truly amazing. That's been a huge help in my journey, in business, in my mindset, in my health and my fitness. I have had help and support in every area of my life, and now I am here happily providing the same type of support to my clients and maybe to you. So if you feel like you need a little bit more information and you're curious about how we can get you ready and you moving toward having more clarity and clearing blockages and building a lifestyle that feels like a wellness routine that actually sticks, then give me a call. I will leave my calendar link at the bottom of the show notes. So with that said, I am going to wrap up today's episode, and I just want to clarify, in the next coming episodes, the podcast is still going to have mindset. It's going to have manifestation. It's going to have tips and tricks on how to be the best version of yourself in health and fitness and wellness, but just in general. because we are here to become the best version of ourselves in all areas of our life, not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually, mentally. We are here to elevate and vibrate at the highest level possible. So I just love that you're here with me, and I love that we're on this journey together, because this time next year, who knows? We may be on a stage, because I am trying to manifest a podcast tour, and I would love to meet a ton of people all over the world, all over the US. And so here we are, manifesting, saying it into the universe, and then just releasing it, having faith, and knowing that everything that is meant for you will not pass you by. Thank you so much for listening. I truly appreciate each and every one of you who show up, who comment, who like, who have subscribed. I appreciate you. And if you feel like you have a friend that would benefit from the message that I give in this podcast, please share it with them. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and if you have a few extra seconds, leave a review or a comment or some feedback. I would love to hear from you, and keep showing up, because this is just one step closer to becoming the best version of yourself. I will see you next week. Bye.